Hello, good evening, online guys.
Good evening, sir.
Right, online guys. My request is please share your mail ID along with phone number today also. And to get this second demo video and documents. Share your mail ID and phone number in chat box. Who are not attended yesterday's demo, I will share with you 2 demo videos and documentation for to understand about this SQL part. All of you, yes, even though if you are provided me yesterday, please share today also your mail ID along with phone number. Yes, phone number is also required. Raj, give me your phone number. Okay. So yesterday, we discussed about SQL part. First of all, first 5 minutes, then I would like to cover yesterday's demo. Then after then we'll see practical implementation of this database. How can we interact with the database? Then we'll see. Yesterday we are covered. These are all the points. What is data and data formats? Data storages. Structured data presence in databases. How the data is going to be stored in a table format. In a pure table format, how the data is going to be stored in databases and on-premises cloud data storages, database providers and vendors, and what needs to be learned in SQL. For what we will have to learn SQL part and what needs to be learned in SQL part. That is yesterday we covered. Only the significance. Significance means why we are using, why we need to use the SQL server, and where we are using this SQL server, what kind of products we are having, how many types of databases are available in market to store your data. That is all yesterday we have discussed. See here. So before going to talk about SQL, we should know about the data first of all. Yes, if the data is not there, we don't require any SQL. If the data is not presented, we don't require any kind of SQL language. So that first of all, we require data is required. To know about the data, what is meant by the data and why we need to store data, where we can store nowadays. Nowadays, a lot of systems are available to store our data according to the system. So many databases are available or files are available to store our data. Okay, fine. First of all, to know about what is meant by the data. Data is nothing but it is the information, collection of information, either in a numerical format or a character format or image format, different types of formats. We can store or we can collect the information. That is, we call it as a data it is. That is, we call it as a data. Okay. That is, we are saying as a data it is. Aadhaar information. Yes, must and should. The government should track Aadhaar information. Yes, before going to provide the card, they need to track complete card information or account details, bank account details. So to know about this, which person have the account number, person details, account details complete. So complete account details. That is one information. So the Aadhaar card information in a numerical format or a character format, we can see, or a date format for to store date of birth and all. That is meant by the take anything in the world. Any object, if you are saying, or if you are describing the object, that is, we call it as a information. Or this information should be come under three categories. First one is a structured, unstructured, and semi-structured format. Structured format, unstructured format, and semi-structured format. Any data, if we are selected in a word, that should be come under three categories: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured format. Okay, fine. So here, somebody or decided to store their data or their store information or their business information or employee information. If they want to store the data securely according to the system, we require an area, we require storage area, we require. That storage area, we call it as a data storage, where we are going to store our data, either in a file or database. That area, we call it as a data storage. So how many ways we can store our data? Majorly, see here. So in two areas, we can store our data. In two areas, majorly, we can store our data according to the system. One is file. This is called as a file stream. Second one is database. One area is a file system. Second area, we call it as a database. First, they are introduced file format only to store our data, any data it is. If you want to store, here we are having a files. Nowadays, then we can see lot of files are available, PDF format or a PNG format. This is also one of the file, and JPEG format and text format, doc file, Excel file, and JSON. Then after XML file. Lot of files are available to store your data. Wherever we want to store, there we can store our data. PDF, suppose, for example. So some material if you want to store, some book information if you want to store, then we can go for the PDF format, pure file format. Yes, that is also the data, or else a CV. So CV is also the data. Image, yes, image is also the data. Yes, today, if I take a snap, and after 2 years, then I can see. So that is also, image is also describing, video is also describing, and these are all file formats are available nowadays. which file you want to store, then we can select and we can load it. But disadvantages are there whenever if you are going to store data in files. What are the disadvantages means? First one is huge volumes of data, large volumes of data. So if it is a simple store for suppose, or 2000 records, 3000 records, then we can load an Excel file. We can manage an Excel file. But if you are having trillions of records or trillions of data, then it is a very difficult to maintain in. We can't make the relation, and also then we can't make physical relation here, file to file. That is what. So for to overcome this difficulty to organize the data, they are introduced the databases. They are introduced the databases. Database is a product. Database is a tool. So database is called as a tool to store our data years and years and years. So to organize our data easily, they are introduced. The system is called as a database. That is, we call it as a database. It is. Right. Now, what is mean by the database means? Database is nothing but organized collection of data. Yes, how we are loading data in databases in a one organized manner. Organized manner, we are storing data under databases. For what? For to maintain the data so easily, for to understand the data, for to handle the data easily. Long data, huge volumes of data, or ad hoc data, if you want to maintain, then we are preparing data warehouses. We are preparing, databases. So these are all our vendors, organizations, and these are all our tools. See here, these are all our tools. So each and every organization is providing their own individual databases. Which one we require? Then we can purchase the license from this corporation and we can work with our database. We can work with our database. So keep on, we can load our data. Keep on, we can load our data in databases. For suppose SQL Server. So whose product it is? It is a Microsoft product. It is a Microsoft product. SQL Server is a Microsoft product. This is also the database to store your data. Once if you purchase the database, keep on, we can load years and years and years of data. We can organize, we can maintain the data in one place. That is meant by the database. Database is nothing but data storage area with relations. Yes, table to table or data to data, we can make a relation. In regular sessions, then I will cover in deep of what is meant by the relation and all. Why we require relation between the tables. Okay. And all then I will explain in deep. We'll see. Relations, what we require, why we require relations means to avoid the redundancy, duplications. Again and again and again, no need to take the same data. So to avoid this redundancy or duplications, then we require a relation between the objects. We require a relation between objects we require. That's what we required here, the relations required. So database is supporting, pure the database is supporting relations. Not only SQL Server, all servers, Oracle, Sybase, DB2, NetAgent, Informix, Teradata. These are all are familiar databases in the world. All are familiar databases. Not only these databases, so many databases are available in market. Whatever if you want to purchase, then we can purchase and we can store our data in securely in one place in an organized manner. That is meant by the database. Okay, database, if we are purchased or if you are constructed, how can we interact with the database? By using SQL. SQL is a mandatory. So SQL is a language to interact with the databases, to speak with the databases. Not only SQL Server, with Oracle, with Sybase or Teradata, whatever database if you want to speak, then we can go for SQL part. So there is no Oracle SQL, MongoDB SQL, SQL Server SQL. SQL is a common language. It is a pure ANSI standard language. It is American National Standard Institution. It is a registered. Actually, this one is introduced by the IBM Corporation in early 1970s to speak with the Sybase, means to interact with the Sybase to done the operations. Anything else, if you want to intimate to the database or if you want to request the database, so the database can understand only one language. That language name is called as SQL. So the database can understand only the language is called as SQL only. That is what any database, if you want to interact, to request the database, insert the data, delete the data, or else select the data. Anything else if you want to say, then what we require, SQL part is required. So yesterday we covered this one. See today, how can we interact with the databases? Yes, already in my machine or in my system, the database already are installed. I have here two databases. Okay, see here now, two databases. So anything else, any tool, not only SQL Server, any tool, Power BI, Java, .NET, PHP, ADF, any tool, if you want to work, first mandatory we require a system is required, right or wrong? So we require a system. Mission is required. Under mission, OS is required, operating system is required. So what is meant by the operating system means? It is a platform. Operating system is a platform. Windows, Unix, Linux, and then after Mac, Android. So these are all our operating systems. Operating system means, so if you want to interact with the machine or a phone, smartphone, or else system, if you want to interact, then what we require, operating system is required, platform is required. If the platform is there, then we can go and we can install here. So n number of systems, n number of tools, SQL Server, Oracle, or else Power BI or Java, any tool, whatever tool if you want to install or configure, then we can install in a system level. But as a end user or as a end user, then we can't interact directly with this So we can't directly speak with this software tools. So what we required here is mediator is required. For example, this one is SQL server. SQL server database. Direct, then we can't speak with the database. In a middle, we require. So one user interface is required. User interface. So to communicate with the database, if I want to say something to the database, first we have to type here through this tool. This tool is going to be send the request to the server. This tool we call it as a SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Same way, if you want to work with Oracle, so then what we require here is developer is required, SQL developer is required. If you want to work with Oracle, SQL developer. SQL developer is required. See now. Through SQL developer, whatever request if you want to send to the Oracle, then we can send it. So these are all our mediators. Power BI level also. Desktop, Power BI desktop. Why the Power BI desktop? It is the Power BI desktop to make the reports. So that is a mediator. Directly, then I can't speak with Power BI. That is what in my system is that hardware and software both are existed. Two databases existed in my system. I am going to be open these two databases. First one is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, to communicate with SQL Server database. See here. So Microsoft SQL Server database, immediately it is asking, yes. So which server you want to talk? I have here many servers. Number of servers already configured. Which server we want to communicate with that server, then we can go and we can select here. Then go and connect it. Now this tool was connected to the server. New query window, see the new query window here. And see the structure of the server. This was the structure of the server and server level. Database, these are all we are not created. By default, the server, once if we are installed, Microsoft SQL Server database. Microsoft SQL Server database, by default, it is providing all these folders. By default, it is providing all these folders. See here, database, security, server object, replication. So like this, many objects it is provided, many features it is provided. Once if we purchase the server, then we can work with this. Okay, fine. This one is SQL Server database, means Microsoft database it is. Microsoft database. Name is called as SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server already installed. To interact with SQL Server, so we are coming for the tool is called as SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. It is SQL Server Management Studio. By this tool, we are communicating with this server. And one more server is there in my mission. See here, that is called as a Oracle. So I would like to open here Oracle database also. See, Oracle SQL developer. For what? For to interact with the Oracle database, for to interact with Oracle database. See here, this database is also having the same structure. Now, it is asking to connect first of all. What is the tool? Tool name is called as Oracle SQL Developer. It is for what? For to communicate with Oracle database. So now I am going to be connect here. HRDB. Click on this. Then it is asking the password. I am going to be provide the password. ORCL. Once if we are, click on connect. See here. This one is also providing to write a query here. And here all the features: views, tables, indexes, packages, procedures, and all. This one is SQL server, and this one is Oracle server. It is. See, two different databases are there in my mission. Yes, of course. If we have a capacity in system level, then we can construct here n number of servers. N number of servers. So the best example is here. I purchased here 1500 square feet and empty space. In this empty space, whatever if you want to construct rooms, n number of rooms, then we can construct it, right or wrong? 1500 square feet ad building or empty space I am purchased. So in this space, whatever if we want, how many rooms if we want, then we can go and we can construct it. The same way here also. So in my mission, I have here 500 GB space. In that space, so how many tools if we want to install, then we can go and we can install it based on the capacity of the mission. Then we can install this tools. Number of tools, then we can install it here. So this one is SQL Server database. This one is called as the Oracle database. See the features. And this database is providing like this. And this database, Oracle database, is providing like this: tables, views. Here also we are having views, tables, and then procedures. And here also we can see the procedures under programmability. Stored procedures are there. Stored procedures. See here now. So features. This one Oracle is providing some features, and SQL Server is providing some features. But most probably SQL Server and Oracle both. So nowadays, according to the security purpose, according to this data maintenance, and this SQL Server is also providing more features here. This one is called as a database. Under database level, these are all are objects. And here also, SQL Server level, this one is called a database. Database level, these are all are objects. These are all are objects. See the structure of the database in general, if you want to talk. So, example is, see this one. So this is a server. This one we call it as a server. It is. Server. Server level. This is a one database. This one we call it as a database. It is. Local database DB is one database. Under database, table is one object. View is one object. Programmability is one object. Simple technical, simple terms, if you want to compare this one, house, how the structure having, see here, this is the way, house, in a house, so bedroom and kitchen and then hall, like this we are divided. And here only we are going to be store bedroom objects only, in kitchen only kitchen objects, in hall only hall objects. Why we are dividing the rooms like this in house? For to maintain the objects easily, right or wrong? Same way here also, server level database, database level tables and views, these are all our objects. These are all, we call it as a objects. So why they are taking this structure like this means technical terms, these are all. Server is a main container. Under server level database. So server level subcontainer it is. It is a one of the room, logical space it is, to maintain all objects in this database. So like this, based on the capacity of the server, based on the size of the server, here then we can create n number of databases. So yes, individually, in one database, I want to store HR information. In one database, I want to store order information. In one database, I want to store employee information. Why they are providing like this means to organize the data. Yes, all HR information we can place in one area. See here also the same, HRDB. Yes, then we can easily identify. Here only we are contain HR related information only. Here some data, here some data, here some data. Like this, different containers, then we can store a different data. In a different containers, we can store different data. So this is all for to understand. Just I open here, see here now. So this is a Oracle server and this one is SQL server. Okay, if I want to say something to the server, then what we required here is, and SQL part is required, pure SQL part is required. See, already existing table, for example, in local DB tables. So here few tables are existed. This table data I want to see. Already somebody else are stored a data. We are not created. Somebody else are created this employee table. Now I want to see this employee table. If you want to see the employee table, then what we required here is SQL is required. I am going to be write down SQL like this. Select the star from employee table. What I am asking? Simple it is, in local DB. Then go and show me the employee table data. Execute it. Yes, is it showing or not? See here. In a table format, complete in a table format, the data it is showing. SQL server is showing. Same way, in Oracle also I am asking, select star from. Here what objects we are having in HR database. In HR database, we are having employees. So now I am asking the employees. This is a request. Employees. Select this one and click on run button. So Oracle is also showing. Oracle is also showing the same way the table. But this one is the data presented in Oracle. But this one is data presented in SQL server. But command is same. See the command. This is called as a command or a request. I am requesting the Oracle. What I am requesting? Select from employee object employees is an object already existed here. Then go and show me star. Star means entire information from this object. That is my request. The request purely I converted into SQL format. Then only it can understand. If we are writing like this, so get back employee table data. It can't understand. See here, if I am writing like this, yes, so it's not going to understand what we are saying here. Must and should we had to, as for the business, we have to convert this business logic into pure SQL format. So that is what we required, the SQL part. That's what we required, SQL part. All right. Okay. So both commands, command is same here in both servers. In a both servers, in Oracle server database, SQL server database. So command is not varied, SQL is not varied. See here. So how we return in Oracle, same way we return in SQL server also. Same way we return in SQL server also. Then once if we are executed, execute means we are requesting the server. According to my request, the server is responding. This is mean by request and response between user and server. This is a mean by the request, and this is we call it as a response. Who provides the response? Server provides the response. Who provides the request? User provides the request. Yes, we are asking something. Server is providing according to that answer. It is providing. This is the way then we have to be communicate with the databases. Okay, fine. So that we are going to learn SQL part here, SQL part. And who needs to learn SQL? So to whom the SQL is required means for all developers. For all kind of developers required SQL part means, so programming developers or application developers. Application developers means C, C++, Java, .NET or PHP, Python, okay, and so on. All programming languages people should know about a data. For example, IRCTC. IRCTC is a application. Once if we are registered or else once if we book the ticket, so this website needs to track that booking information and needs to be loaded somewhere else. In backend level, application is a front end, backend they require, database they require. That is what. So these guys also required SQL skills. And next, BI developers, all kind of business intelligence developers. So ETL developers, Power BI developers. So these are all our reporting developers. Reporters means Power BI developer, Tableau developer, ClickView developer, and ETL developers means SSIS developer, Informatica, ETL developer, data stage, Pantaho, talent, ADF. These are all business intelligence people. Mandatory required SQL part. So, and also, so data analyst, data analyst is required, and in data science. Data science also, we require SQL part. Why? Because the most probably 90% we have to interact with the databases. So why databases? Why not Excel? Why not PDF file? Why not file format? Means file level, then we can't maintain lot of data, huge volumes of data, then we can't maintain in files. That is what most probably the data will be stored in databases only. Databases only to organize, to easily understand, to easily govern the data. Then most probably all are going to store their data in databases only. That is what all kind of developers are required. All developers require database knowledge. And along with this, guys, see here, one more role, admins. Only database administrators, database admins. Database admins means they are going to be control here, administrators, okay, permissions, backup and recovery process, okay, permissions if they want to provide. Developer entered into the database. Developer don't have all access, only the limited access only. So who provides this? Administrator will provide the access for the developers. These are all activities developer will control. And on the top of developers, one more role is there that is called as a super admin. Super administrator. Okay. In database level, these are all people will work. So the all kind of developers, BI developers, application developers, and data scientist and data analyst. So these are all needs to be work on, should have a knowledge. Work on means should have a knowledge on SQL part. That is a mandatory. And along with this, in database level, database administrators and super admins also will involve in databases. For what? So what is the developer role? Developer role is to interact with the data, to insert the data, upload the data, or retrieve the data, delete data. These are all kind of operations developers will do. And admins will do backup and recovery, permissions providing, okay, and performance verification. Super admin. Super admin will verify either the server is working or well or not, and why it is going slow down, how much space is there, how much space is required. So any configuration issues are coming, those are all done by the super admins. These are all people are going to interact with the databases only. Any database, not only somebody will work with SQL server, somebody will work with Oracle, somebody will work with DB2. Any database it is, but the language is a global language. SQL is a language to interact with the databases. So with a little bit of syntactical variations, then we can see. All online guys who didn't share your mail ID and phone number so far, please provide your mail ID along with the phone number and the chat box. Provide your mail IDs and phone numbers in the chat box. Then only then you will get documents and videos. Share your mail IDs and phone numbers in the chat box. Till who didn't share? So even yesterday, if you are a share, please share today also. Right. So this is the way then we have to be interact with databases. So for to communicate with the database, we required a SQL language we required. That is what we are going to learn the SQL part. That's what we are going to be learn SQL part. Before going to learn SQL, then we have to be select one database. Best example is I want to learn the driving. So if I want to learn a driving, then directly then I am not going to be select Bullet or Harley Davidson or else a sports bikes, small bikes. Okay. So first of all, before going to learn, then comfortable bike we are going to be choose. Once if we learn the bike, then we can go for the exercises with all bikes. Once if I perfect in a driving, then we can go for any bike. So far I'm using Pulsar. Shouldn't suppose, for example, if I purchased a Bullet, same driving won't be varied. Same driving it is. Here also same. SQL, while going to learn, then here I am going to be selected the database is called as Microsoft SQL Server. Why we are going to be selected this Microsoft SQL Server means most of the organizations are implementing the database to store the data SQL Server only. Why? Because it is a 24 by free service, free support will get, and according to this maintenance license, it is a very cheap and best tool. So compared to other databases, this database is also providing all features. Okay, so that is what very small scale to large scale organizations can maintain easily this database. So that is what most of the organizations are running with this servers database, Microsoft SQL Server. That is what SQL, pure SQL we are going to learn with Microsoft SQL Server database. Microsoft SQL Server database. And lot of databases are available. Oracle one database. Same, whatever we are going to discuss in SQL part, those are all you can work with Oracle also. Same queries. Same queries then you can implement in Oracle also. So this was the way then we had to be interact with the databases. And what we are going to be covered in this course, see here now, it will take 30 to 35 hours it will take to be finished. Everything in deep will cover here from end to end, from scratch to crash. So daily 1 hour session. And the fixed timing 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday. So Monday to Friday. Saturday is depends. Okay. So depends on the timeline, then I will take the Saturdays, but I will provide you the work for Saturday. Whatever we are going to discuss Monday to Friday. So for that topic, then I will give you the exercise. Those exercises, then you have to done yourself. I will help you for your queries. So then 2 projects I will explain. It's a real projects I will explain. So it's related or near to the real time. These projects then you have to done yourself. Just only I will explain the process, then yourself, then you have to be doing. Okay. So here the topics we are going to be covered in deep of SQL Server overview, installation, and components. So, and languages and every part deep, then constraints, indexes, set operators, subquery, joins, views, functions, procedures, cursors, triggers, dynamic SQL. So temporary storages, all we are going to be covered here. This course is enough to crack the interviews in so yourself. Once if you follow the lectures and materials, definitely then you can crack the interviews. So as like as a 4 years of expert. So with combination, then you can go Power BI, SQL, or else .NET SQL, Java with SQL, ADF with SQL, combination also you can place, or else only plain SQL developer also then you can go. Okay, after this completion of the course, then you can get the subject as like as a 4 or 5 years of expert. Then you can feel free to work in industry also. So that is the way then I will explain in deep every part, and also I will provide for each and every topic material clearly. So live video sessions each and every day, the session I will pass to you, and practical queries and FAQs, interview questions. So almost 800 interview questions I will provide you. So if you practice that one, both queries, then I will give you Oracle query plus SQL query. Both query I will give you. Once if you practice that queries, that is sufficient to crack this interviews. That max 90%, 90 to 95%, then you can answer. Once if you practice these are all queries, then definitely then you can answer the queries, questions in interviews. So this is the way lectures will be continued, and we are going to select here to learn this SQL part. The database is called as SQL Server database. SQL Server database it is. Yes, online guys, one by one. So please raise your queries. Do you have any queries so far?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Sir,